Alright, today we're working on 10-4, which is triangles. And triangle is a figure with 3 sides and 3 angles. The sum of all the angles equals 180 degrees. Okay, so when we add all 3 of these angles, no matter what, if it's acute, obtuse, or right, when they all add all together, you will get 180 degrees. So with that being said, if we're trying to find the missing angle, then what you need to do is simply add the measurements that we already have, which we know this angle and this angle are both 43. So 43 plus 43 is going to give me 86. And now, to find that missing measurement, you simply need to subtract that from 180 degrees. That difference, and again this will be 4, that's 7, borrow from the 1, and you end up with 94 degrees. Simply finding that difference will give you the remaining variable, or the value of that variable x. Okay, and another way of checking this again is adding these two numbers together, and you should get 180 degrees, and in this case you do. Okay, so again, add the two together, whatever's listed, subtract from 180 degrees. That difference will give you the value of x. Now what I want you to do is copy this information down. This is what we're going to be using to be able to classify triangles by their angles. So go ahead and copy that down. Alright, so you have an acute triangle, which means that all acute angles are present. Okay, all the angles are acute, less than 90 degrees. A right triangle is that there is one right angle, and you can only have one right angle. If you had two, it would end up being a square or rectangle, or it could possibly be a trapezoid as well. Okay, so you can only have one, and that classifies that as a right triangle. As for an obtuse triangle, you only need one obtuse angle, and again, if you had more than one obtuse angle, you'd end up with probably a parallelogram in that situation. So again, you have to make certain that you realize that this is not an acute. Okay, many students look at this and say, oh, well, there's an acute here and an acute and an obtuse. There's two acute and only one obtuse, so it has to be an acute triangle. That is incorrect. To be an acute, again, all 3 have to be acute. One angle that's right is a right triangle. One obtuse angle is an obtuse triangle. Okay, so be careful on those. Now we're going to classify them according to their sides. So go ahead and again take a few minutes and hit pause and copy this information down. Alright, scalene triangle means that there are no congruent sides. All of these sides are different. They are the different length. This is length 1, length 2, length 3. They are not congruent. On an isosceles triangle, at least 2 congruent sides. So this side's 1 and that side's 1. They are then isosceles. Okay, one way of remembering that with the 2 is you have 2 eyes. Okay, 2 eyeballs that you see with. And then we have the eye in isosceles. Okay, and that means 2. Okay, there are 2 congruent sides. And for an equilateral, we've got the word equal in here. Equal. For this, all 3 sides have to be congruent. Okay, all 3 sides is to be an equilateral. Let's look at trying a few of these. I'm going to let you go ahead and do the first one here. So go ahead and hit pause, classify it, the triangle by its angles and then by its sides. So go ahead and do this first one. Alright, classifying this as by its angles, we're going to look at the angles themselves, and we see that none of them are the same. They are all, the question is, are all of them less than 90 degrees? In this case, this is not less than 90. This is a 95-degree angle, and it is obtuse. Therefore, my answer is obtuse. Now, classifying it by its sides, we've got a 1, a 2, and a 3. None of them are the same, therefore it is scalene. Go ahead and do this next one then, off to the right. Go ahead and look at the angles and the signs that are listed there. Go ahead and do that. Now again, looking at the angles, you see that all three of them are less than 90 degrees. Therefore, it is acute. And we're looking at the sides now, and they are all 1s. So therefore, they're all equal. So it's going to be an equilateral. Go ahead and hit pause and do this last one. So we look again at the angles, and we see that they are all, again, less than 90 degrees, so it is acute. And then we're looking at the sides themselves, and this is a 1 and a 1, and this is a 2. So these two are congruent, and since two of them are congruent, we look then at the isosceles for its answer. Okay, we'll be doing some more of this. This is a little bit easier lesson, so take advantage of this opportunity. The biggest thing is to, again, be very careful on deciphering the differences on each one of these. So take a look at them, look at your notes if you have to refer to them to ensure that you are writing the correct one down. Okay, have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.